I'll start in 2 minutes. So any doubts from the previous session? Good evening, Sunita. Good evening, Madhuri. Any doubts? Diwali, already Diwali moment, like we can see the Diwali crackers, burnings and everything. Diwali mood is already set up. So apde crackers kalustunaru. All my streets, in all my street they are burning crackers. Mere start chesara. Sir, how to generate examples or points for philosophy classes? I'll discuss today. We'll discuss today. When is the Diwali? Sunday or Monday?
Monday.
Okay. Monday and Tuesday. Okay, chalo, we'll start. So yesterday we have discussed how to write introduction. Okay. In this aspect, we have discussed one question. Can capitalism bring inclusive growth? So here we have discussed about the what are the ways that can be written in the that can be used to write the introduction. So one thing we have seen is the definition. This you should keep in mind. Okay. The second thing is anecdote, means story, which we have already seen. Then we can also use question or debate. Question or debate. We can also use a quote or poem. We can use current affair to set the context. Okay, so these are the various ways to write the introduction. So we have also seen what is the purpose of introduction. Okay, what is the purpose of introduction?
To set the tone.
Yeah. So we have to convey to the examiner. Convey to the examiner that we have understood the essay. Second, deconstruct the essay. What you have decoded from the essay that you should be able to communicate. Then what one can expect in the body. And all this should be done within 100 to 200 words. Right? So this is what we have discussed yesterday. So I will give you one more technique as well. So yesterday I have given you story format, anecdote we have done. Okay, I have also given you how we can use any kind of current affair, like say we have discussed yesterday about this what is it, where we were talking about the inequality data given by Oxfam report, okay, to highlight the present condition taken up from the current affair. okay, to set the tone or context. So these two things yesterday we have discussed. Now, definition based, how we can do. So you can raise these three questions. Firstly, before writing introduction, you can do this thing. What is capitalism? You don't write this thing. You just brainstorm. What is capitalism? Okay. So capitalism means where uh, production or means of ownership is with the private sector. Market will decide supply and demand. So on the other side, inclusive growth means development which includes all sections of society and all the sectors of economy. As well as all the regions development. Okay. So what the questions is, now this is the question one. Second question you can generate is, what is the relationship given in the question? Question says, can capitalism bring inclusive growth? Okay, this is the question. Okay. Next, third question is, you have to put in your mind. Okay, this framework you can use to write the introduction. What is relationship between capitalism and inclusive growth? So you, whatever be the question, the statement that is given in the exam hall, it is utmost important for you to write a proper introduction. So before writing the proper introduction, you first in your mind, whatever the two major terms that are given in the statement, you just properly define them. Then you also try to bring the relationship between the two terms, which is being given in the question. Okay, let's say the question here says capitalism is not conducive to the inclusive growth. Let's assume that this is the question. Capitalism is not good for the inclusive growth. This is what they have given, let's assume. So you will write something, why it is not conducive to the inclusive growth. Then what is the relationship? Why this capitalism is not leading to this inclusive growth? So you can write a relationship. Capitalism and inclusive growth are related with complex factors. They are not linear, right? So whenever you introduce a capitalism, it's not necessary that there can be inclusive growth, or whenever there is a capitalism, there is not necessary that there cannot be inclusive growth. So this is not leading directly to this thing, right? In between, there are various factors that are playing role, which will decide this thing. So here you will answer, can capitalism bring the inclusive growth? Okay. Then you will answer this thing. There are various cases where capitalism has played key role in facilitating inclusive growth. Now see this statement. This is what given in the question. So we are saying there are various cases where capitalism has played a role in facilitating inclusive growth. At the same time, There are also situations and facts that highlight capitalism is not promoting inclusive growth. Example, Oxfam report, where 10% of the population has the 1% of the population has the 40% of the resources. Here you can say, like in case of India, we are supporting the first point. There are various cases where capitalism has a key role in facilitating the inclusive growth. Like in case of India, after 1991, new economic policy, poverty has been reduced. Poverty has been reduced from 50% to present 21%. At that time, 1991, there was 50% of the poverty. Now it is 21%. Now see here, by reading these paragraphs, now this is not the introduction. You have answered this question, you will brainstorm and you will try to answer these questions. What is capitalism? What is inclusive growth? Can capitalism bring the inclusive growth? What is the relationship between the capitalism and inclusive growth? Now, using these 4 things, you try to write an introduction. So now I have got some idea. Now I will try to use the introduction based on these things. Capitalism means market determined. Market determining supply and production. While inclusive growth means development of all the sections. Now see, by definitions, both seems to be contradicting each other. So now you can say there are cases, there are situations where capitalism supported the inclusive growth, and situations where capitalism has negatively affected the inclusive growth. This shows the relationship between capitalism and inclusive growth is not linear. It is affected by multiple factors. Thus, to answer the question, what is the question? I'll write this thing. Can capitalism brings inclusive growth? We need to analyze these factors. So now the introduction makes sense. Are you guys there? Any doubts in the introduction? So how we have written the introduction? Have you noted down? So we have used the 4 questions, this question, this question, this question, and this question. Or you can use the anecdote. Yesterday we have done this thing. Or we can raise the debate, Karl Marx and Adam Smith, something like that, debates, and arrive at the introduction. So see, now see at the introduction, I have also raised the debate. I am not concluding anything. What are not to do things? I have not said anything. Can capitalism brings inclusive growth or not? I have raised the debate. I have said multiple factors play the role. So this gives the examiner hint that in my body, I may write those factors. So sometimes I see the students send me essay copy. They write very beautiful introduction. So my expectation will go very high. Then comes Leo movie kind of scenario. Okay, so people will think, okay, Lokesh Kanagraj will bring very good movie. Then finally, things will collapse. So if you have written very good introduction and your body is not matching that, and you are not addressing the things which are mentioned in the introduction, and you are writing something rubbish, you will be penalized. You will not get very good score. So examiner will think this guy, okay, this he or she guy has raised my expectation. I kept so many hopes on this fellow, but disappointed me. Okay, so this should not happen. Now, till here, is this things clear? So how you will brainstorm using the, now see, can capitalism bring inclusive growth? Can technology replace manpower? These were 2015 questions, 2015 PYQ. So here you will use these things, x1, x2, here also x1, manpower, x2. So what do? Define x1, define x2. Okay, this is question, your exercise 1. Then your exercise 2. This, what is the relation that is given? So try to answer this and write in 3 lines. Then what is actual relationship? So write 1 or 2 lines and frame introduction based on this thing. You can also try to bring current affairs knowledge, any stat this way, or simply you can use anecdote. But these days I have seen people are using anecdote a lot. For every essay, everyone are starting with the story because people got to know that stories will give you good marks, and everyone are writing the stories. That is irritating a lot. I prefer this approach. That makes introduction to me lively. I also do the same approach even for the GS introduction, but this thing should be happening in the 3 to 4 lines. Okay, even in the GS also, these things applies. GS answer writing. Your introductions will be these things. Here quote will not be there. This the story will not be there. There are students who are writing quotes, debates, anecdotes, stories, even in the GS also. I don't know who are teaching them, who are those mentors, but they are going to cause huge issue to you because you are wasting so many words. You might attract unnecessary, not penalty, if not penalty, but you will lose the marks. In the GS, you will have hardly 150 words for the 10 marker. You cannot waste a word. Every word should be hitting to the point. So in the GS, there are only few things where you can write the introduction. You can use these 2 things, not just these 2. There are other points also, but just I'm saying this thing which is relevant here. Wait, let me show you. Yeah, definition can be used, current affair can be used, and also historical context can be used, and also the things which I mentioned here, x1 and x2, and the relationship between the x1 and x2. This is also very good way to write the introduction. X1, x2, and the relationship between the x1 and x2. Is the things clear so far? It is just, I'll go to the body. Is it clear so far? Yeah. Now, in the body, 700 to 800 watts. Can capitalism bring inclusive growth? So, how I'll think? I'll think majorly always, most of the times, it would be like this. Okay, if it is not in most of the areas, okay, so if it is a question based, okay, sometimes is it a boon or bane? Uh, can AI be a threat to the human? Our agriculture is at crossroads. So, like this, they will be giving some kind of statements. So, generally, what I will be doing is positives, negatives. Huh. Yeah, I'll also think one thing. Okay, when we are thinking of what is the relationship between these two things, is it a positive? Is it a negative? Can there be harmony between these two things? Okay, let's say environment and development. Can development is detrimental to the environment? This is the question. Okay, so when we think about the relationship, it can be both positive. I'll think of positive. I'll think of negative. Can there be harmony? I'll not write these things in the introduction. Okay, so there can be positive relationship, there can be negative relationship. Can there be harmony, peace, balance? For this, I'll write the suggestions and then conclude. So generally, these arguments, this positive relationship, this negative relationship, or it can be yes or no. And suggestions will be adding as a kind of transition link to my body. Sorry, conclusion. And before starting body, generally I'll write historical context. Historical context or thesis statement. These two things I'll use as a kind of transition from introduction to the body. From introduction to the body. Now see, we have raised the debate. So there are cases where capitalism can bring the inclusive growth, and there are also cases where capitalism may not bring the inclusive growth. So on direct, once we see directly the definition of the capitalism, it might appear that it is contradicting the inclusive growth. And there are also various reports, Oxfam reports, there are also which are also saying that once the capitalism was introduced, it is acting in a profit motive, because capitalism means profit oriented. That's what we had discussed yesterday. Let's say Sunita. Okay, yesterday we have discussed, if Sunita is not having enough money with her. Okay, if Madhuri is producing the burgers. Okay, if Sunita goes to the Madhuri and says, okay, so Madhuri, I'm hungry. I need 5 burgers for me, for my family, and for my kids and all, whatever it is. Then Madhuri will say, if I give you 5 burgers, my family will come to the road. Okay, I don't want. I have taken loans. Okay, I have taken credit from the bank. I have taken credit for this business. I have my children's loan. Okay, so these things Madhuri will say. So generally, because if Madhuri has enough money, maybe she might do. That is called the altruism or corporate social responsibility. But these are not necessary. Madhuri may do or may not do. What is happening in the capitalism is profit orientation. If I get the profit, I'll do. This is what the essence of capitalism is. Irrespective of whether Sunita will survive or die, I don't care. I am getting the money. You give me money, But you take and you leave. Okay, that is there is a Telugu movie which I can remember, Trivikram and Allu Arjun. Okay, there Allu Arjun will say tax ఎక్కటం illegal sir. Then Rajendra Prasad will say intelligence sir and July. So capitalism లో అలా ఉంటుంది అనమాట థింకింగ్. The mindset will be like how to maximize own profit. That's all. There is nothing the people care about. If you are aware of 1930s Great Depression, what has happened during this Great Depression? So like this, people were going, like Adam Smith has introduced classical economics. So which is this free state. So what has happened was this top people got all the resources and this bottom people could not get any money. Now what has happened was, now these guys have got enough money and they are producing so much of so many things. Okay, they are producing something. Let's assume that they are producing cars, laptops. Let's assume. Okay, those days there were no laptops and cars were not there. Okay, just I'm saying hypothetically, these guys were producing this thing. Now these are the 70% of the population, 80% of the population, or 90% of the population. But all the money is with these guys and they are producing this thing. Now who will purchase their products? Who will buy them? So this has led to the Great Depression. No one has the money. No money. So people stopped buying their products. So demand has come down. So automatically supply failed. Stock markets crashed. Then came Keynesian economics. He said state should intervene. There cannot be completely free market. State should come and play the role. Okay, so what the state will do? Okay, when the market is in the boom phase, taxes will be applied. When the market is in the low phase, subsidies will be given, right? And these taxes will be used for the redistribution. And if Sunita does not have the money, she will be given support system, which we call as a doles. Then slowly she should also be equipped with skills. These are called safety nets. Currently, what kind of safety nets do we have? We have Food Security Act. We have MGNREGA. We have social security schemes, right? So this is what Keynesian said. So in this way, we are trying to bring harmony between the inclusive growth and the capitalism. So when we talk about these things, this body, where we are talking about the positives, negatives, and trying to bring harmony through suggestions, we should have very good clarity about the whole concept of the capitalism and the inclusive growth. So this is what the Keynesian thing I have given about is the historical context. You should also be aware of the historical context of the India, which I have mentioned about the 1948 industrial policy. You must go through this thing. 1948, 1956 industrial policy, then 1991 new economic policy, then 2011 manufacturing policy, then Make in India, then Atmanirbhar Bharat. So you should be aware of all these things which Indian government is doing. Self-reliance. Then only your essay will turn good. Now you have to brainstorm. I have to talk. Can capitalism bring inclusive growth or not? Okay. So I will first I'll write. Okay, whatever you can choose. Okay. First I'll write. Okay, positives. Okay, or I'll write first negatives. Whatever you can. Okay. Now you have to think on the dimensions. Okay. Now can you guys tell me? Okay, how capitalism can affect the inclusive growth? Now you guys tell me. You guys brainstorm. You guys brainstorm me. Okay. Okay. At least 4 negatives. At least 4 negatives, 4 positives. you can also think, okay, these dimensions. You think from your syllabus point of view. You think environment. Okay, you can think the dimension of negative environment. Like say, I will give you the hint. Okay, see, let's say environment, society. In the society, what are the aspects you have? Yesterday we have discussed women.
Widens the gap between the rich and the poor.
Yeah. So first, okay, so this way we are taking about the 4 aspects: society, women, vulnerable sections. Okay, then economy aspects, then cultural aspects. Okay, then you can also think about the India aspect and the world aspect. Okay, so like this, you have the dimensions, and again within the economy, you can think of agri, manufacturing, and a service sector. Now think about the 4 points. Okay, someone has said it is widening the gap between the rich and poor. Okay, so it is causing the inequality. How you will write in a structured format, we will again discuss. This is just your brainstorming. This is called the rough sheet we are doing. Yesterday I have given you time frame. I have told you somewhere around 15 minutes should be given for this thing, right? Because or else you will be randomly jumping. I have seen the essays. People will write one positive, one negative. Suddenly from the action there will be comedy scene. From the comedy scene there will be again romantic scene. Again there will be action scene. There will be a mix of everything. That is not going to work. There should be a sequence. There should be a flow that is called coherence. We are going to talk about the positive. The examiner will also be very happy. Okay, this guy is talking about now positive things. Yeah, Madhuri has given positive. Okay. First, let's generate the inequality, negative things. Okay, how this generates the inequality? That is what important. Not just inequality. Can someone tell me? Elaborate. How inequality?
By giving poor wages.
How it can raise as the inequality? Because it is market oriented.
Sir, highly educated people will get most benefit out of it.
So people who do not have resources, only skilled labor, only hired. Okay, so that is the example, right? People who do not have resources can not get fruits of capitalism. Now this is the point. This is the point. Can you guys get? Did you guys get me? This is the point. Analysis. People who do not have resources cannot get the fruits of capitalism. Now you give me the example. Example. In case of Green Revolution, only rich farmers benefited. People who afford, they can get benefited. Okay. While others suffered. Now Sunita is saying that only people who afford, they can get. Now see, this is a essay. People who can afford, they can get. Now if it is any kind of chocolate, biscuit, cake, okay, if Sunita is not getting the burger, that is fine. But let's say Sunita got the health issue. Now this is essential service. Now how many guys can you see? Okay, you guys, you might be aware. There is a primary healthcare center, there is a secondary healthcare center, there is a tertiary healthcare center. Okay, the services in the primary and secondary healthcare center is expected to be provided by the government at free of cost. Here, everything like say diagnosis, prevention, care, treatment, small treatment should be taken care because of the same capitalism. Right? Like say, if any person, like be it Sunita, be it me, anyone, okay, if we cannot afford something, some major health issue has come to us, and if we cannot afford to pay for this thing, then it is going to cost huge social problem. This capitalism can result in social problems or social crisis because even the essential services, essential services can be based on purchasing power capacity. Right? This is happening. Why it is important for the government to focus on the healthcare? Because see, if the person is earning, let's say he do not have any kind of backup, if the person's salary is, let's say, 5 lakhs per annum, let's assume some major health issue has happened to him. Okay, he need some 50 lakhs for surgery, and he is the sole breadwinner. He saved some 20 lakhs. While earning 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs also, 50,000 per month, he is considered as a decently fine, right? Now with this thing, 50 lakhs, his 25 lakhs is gone. He is bedridden. Now he has sent to the below poverty line. See the state. This is the severe problem of capitalism. Right? You might have also seen about the child labor. Why the child labor is predominant? Because these guys do not have the bargaining power. See, now we are talking about the social problems. We are just brainstorming. See, child labor, because they do not have the bargaining power. As they don't have the bargaining power, your cost of production can be decreased by employing them. Right? That's why child labor is employed in the industries. Right? Then you can also see various things like surrogacy. Okay, Blue. Why the Indian government has strict rules on the surrogacy? There is a clinic. Okay, there are so many poor people in the India. Okay, they will bring some lady. Okay, so some lady will be fed with different types of medicines and all. Okay, finally, she will rent her stomach. Poor lady, she will be allured with 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs. She might think, okay, for family and all. Okay, when the pregnancy happens naturally, okay, there will be 2 years of spacing. She will be properly nurtured. Nutrition will be given. Everything will be taken care. But if we go based on the profit motive, capitalism, okay, whether this lady survive or die, it doesn't matter. Okay, she might be forced by any kind of registered company to go for multiple pregnancies, to rent her womb multiple times, and eventually she may die. This is what the negative effects of the capitalism. And then you might have
Yashoda movies.
Shoda. So you might also see the issues of prostitution. If it is done with willingness, Supreme Court said, okay, it is fine, it's your wish. But this can also be leading to the trafficking issues. Okay, some guy might traffic the people. Then there can also be the similarly, not just there can also be organ trafficking. If capitalism is uncontrolled, if only profit is the motive, you can achieve the money with various illegal ways. See the negative impacts we are talking about. So in all these cases, your inclusive growth is being affected. Now see, whatever the social dimensions I have spoken about, these are only just one dimensions. Now if you write only these points within the 4 points, I have asked to write the negative points. If you write health, prostitution, child labor, trafficking,
regional differences.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, all this comes under the social thing. Okay, if you write only these 4 negative points, I will not give you any point. I will give you only 20% of the marks for the body. You guys understood? You should write only one dimension from this. You should think on different dimensions. Okay. Now, someone was saying environmental. So, now see, capitalism being profit oriented may destroy environment or may cause so many negative repercussions over the environment. You can talk about the example. Now example. See, now you have said this point. No one will understand without the example. Like pollution of Ganga river. Your whole belt of your Bihar, UP, there were various leather tanning industries, paper and pulp industries, sugarcane industries, small scale manufacturing industries, textile industries. All these things are dumped in the river, causing the huge pollution. Because you don't, if this is not regulated, why? Okay, let's say the Pradeep is having some industry here. Okay, he will not care. Okay, if he's going solely by the profit orientation. Okay, the movies, various movies, they show it now. Okay, they will show it extreme cases, like say in the Kaleja movie and all. What they do, what they show. Okay, when you are a civil servant, when you are preparing for these exams, when you are watching the movie, see what kind of inferences that can be used. Even these things can also be used. Okay, these points can be used. Okay, let's say when you write the ethics answer, you can show how the movies are displaying the stereotypes. There are various movies. Okay, they show various prejudices. Now, what happens? You guys might be well educated. You guys know this is just movie entertainment and laugh and forget. But the mass will think there are various people, the teenage people, they will just they try to imitate their favorite hero, whatever the Arjun Reddy movie is there. Okay, he will also think, okay, now for me breakup has happened. Okay, I have to break the bottle someone head on someone head. Okay, I have to cry. Whether he is suffering or not, I have to cry. Then he'll take it as a rule. So this is entertainment. Most of the people you guys will know. Okay, now you see this, so many guys. This is happening. Now they are thinking as a rule. Okay, so this kind of situations, this prejudices. Okay, where the boy is shown hitting the goal. Okay, this is the new form of love. This is what you have to you will show in the essays and ethics movies, how they build the prejudices. Again, the role of capitalism. You may watch the movie if you want or not. This is what they say. Okay, so we are talking only about the negatives. So we have mentioned about the environment. We have mentioned about the social. Okay, we have mentioned about the economic inequality. Can you tell me more dimensions within the social? You can talk about the loss of education, loss of health. Then in the environment, you have talked. We can speak about the biodiversity. You can talk about the pollution. Then you can talk about the inequality. Bring more dimensions. Think what kind of impact can happen on the culture. What is happening to tribes? What is happening to local languages? What is happening to local art forms? How many guys will watch classical dance when there is some kind of popular movie is playing? Okay. So that's why recently railway development plan. Government is coming with a railway development plan 2031. Every station will display one local product. Every railway station should have one local product. They should display that. So in this way, you will be able to connect to the current affairs. Now, these art forms, they are struggling to survive, right? They could not compete with this modern ways of innovative art forms and modern ways of the technology. What else? What else you can think? Now think positives, 4 positives. Think of positives. Tell me positives.
Innovation.
Innovation. Then freedom will be there. Freedom will lead to more innovation again, which will lead to the more investment, which will lead to the more job creation. Then, yeah, job creation, Sunita, same thing. Yeah. And social problems can also be solved. Tell me how the social problems can be solved.
Globalization of cultures.
Globalization of the cultures. How is this related to this thing? Positive. We have to talk about what kind of positive impact, how it can create the inclusive growth. That we have to talk about. When you talk about resolving some social problem, we are talking about the inclusive growth. Like say, you can say telemedicine, tele-education. Now, what is the channel? TSAT. I see many Group 1 and Group 2 aspirants of Telangana. They are referring to this channel, TSAT. Okay, how many students might be referring the Rajya Sabha channel? The free resources that are available, online courses, MOOC courses. If this can resolve social problems now,
Promoting digital India.
Using digital India, you can also resolve various social problems, like say, in the case of women. Okay, so reporting of cases are very easy because of this technological innovations. New opportunities like work from home. It does not matter. If you have the skills, capitalism will give you the opportunity. Work from home. This can increase the female labor force participation rate. Playing the role in development of the agriculture, like soil health cards. You have to link thereby promotion of the inclusive growth. Now we are just only brainstorming. What else? How it can bring the inclusive growth? Again, think what role it can play on the environment. Can you guys tell use of technology in environment? Skill development, inclusive growth, and capitalism in environment. Can you guys tell me? Atmospheric technology. Can you make it more specific? Which kind of technology? Maybe climate smart agricultures. Or you can simply say renewable energies technologies like solar, wind, your oceanic energy like tides, waves, OTEC. These things. So you will write in this way 4. Now, how do you bring the balance? So whatever things we have mentioned, okay, you will again think of something legal. Then you think of socially how these things can be balanced. Then institutional, you think of. Yeah, you can talk here. Corporate social responsibility. Okay, so institutional, corporate social responsibility. Legally, there should be laws. Okay, like say we have child labor prevention law, immoral trafficking act. You cannot just take away one person and take away these things. Just like I have mentioned, where the person like Sunita is struggling for the bed, burgers, or health issues, government is also bringing the social safety nets. Okay, like Food Security Act. Increase the government provision towards the health and education. Right? This health and education should be having more strict measures. If something gone wrong, this thing should be done. Okay. So I'll talk about these things. I have not started my essay. I'm just brainstorming this thing. Before before start, like see, if you know the what happens in the movie, before they start the direction, they will have this entire screenplay, how the things is going on. Okay, this is how I'll write my body. Okay, positives, negatives. You should be very clear about the conclusion. So my conclusion is, yes, capitalism can promote the inclusive growth. When there are definitely some negative consequences of the capitalism, there is a possibility that capitalism driven by the profit orientation can cause harm to the society, social conditions, our ancient cultures, traditions, people, and they do the wrong practices. But when this capitalism is monitored by the government and brought the stringent measures, and when there is a encouragement of altruism, like we can also talk about the Tata. Okay, I have shared this thing on my Telegram, right? So then these things can bring the harmony between the capitalism and inclusive growth. And we also see, then you have to mention that India is also already witnessing this thing. Government is taking efforts. We have seen the reduction of the poverty to 21%. We have seen malnourishment coming down. We have seen GDP. We are the third largest PPP wise. If more measures are taken, then we can see a development which is more inclusive, where every section is participation in the development. Thus, inclusive growth can be facilitated by the capitalism. This is what my conclusion is. In this way, I'll brainstorm the points. So in the body, I'll brainstorm the points. Okay, somewhere 5 positives, I'll think, 5 negatives, or 5 pros, 5 cons, I'll think. So then I'll use the transition link of suggestions. Yeah, supervision with technology. And all that is again your innovation. I have just given you reference. You can bring different things there. And then finally conclude. What do we do in the conclusion? So what we'll write in the conclusion? So it should have the link with the body. If you are debating something in the body, like say capitalism has the pros and cons, we should balance, and you are saying capitalism is just waste. You are saying all those things, good things and suggestions and all, we need. Okay, you cannot say, okay, we need communism. Let Maoist come to the power, overthrow our government in a violent ways. Government is not doing any good. They should be overthrown by the Maoist. Use bombs. Gone. Okay. So try to avoid those things, which is not having any kind of relevance with the arguments you have written in the body. So what you have written in the body, that should show the summary. There should be proper connection to the what debate you have written in the introduction. So you have raised the debate of, can the capitalism bring the inclusive growth or not? That should be addressed here in the conclusion. Thereby, these are the factors that are influencing the capitalism and inclusive growth. If these are properly taken care with the role of technology, with the government monitoring, intervention, then this thing can be promoted. If you have written the story, okay, yesterday I have discussed the story, anecdote using the Madhuri and some other person. Okay, where I have said Madhuri has been benefited, but her friend, okay, Nadisha, name I have taken, okay, she did not get benefit. Okay, if you have used that story, if the government can provide the safety nets, just like Madhuri could utilize the benefits of the capitalism, even Nadisha can also utilize the benefits of the capitalism and bring the development. And thereby, inclusive growth can happen. This is how I'll conclude my essay. Is this clear? Is this clear, whatever the discussion we did so far? Now see, now when we are writing the body, certain key things that you have to keep in mind. Now we have generated the points. All these things should happen in the 20 minutes. Now you will write in a properly paragraph format where, yes, you have to always conclude with a kind of optimism. Do not always try to raise the question again in the conclusion. In the conclusion, you have to summarize. That's it. Okay, you should give the final ending. Always good ending. Feel good movies you give. Okay, no more sad endings. Movies might get hit with the sad endings, but UPSC will not be awarding you or rewarding you with good marks if you give the sad endings. Okay, always give the positive, optimistic conclusion and proper your analytical viewpoint. It should be rational. Okay. So now we have you have to start the body. Now let's say I am talking about the positive aspects. My introduction. So I have written introduction. Okay, this needs a debate. Okay, I will start historically. I might use historically. Capitalism was adopted by many nations. However, it led to Great Depression. And many countries chose various alternatives. Like India adopted socialistic form of economy. However, after new economic policy of 1991, now see, I have not directly jumped into the positives like we do in the GS. However, after now I have linked new economic policy 1991, we started our transition towards capitalism. Considering, I will not say positives. Considering what is the question is given? Considering its role, its positive role in inclusive growth. So I have given a transition. You can use your own innovation. I'll just use always historical context. Now see, I have told you, you can use quotes, you can use various, maybe a few people will refer books. Okay, in this book it is written. I have seen people writing the books and they will do brilliantly also. I have no, from the, if you are reading, if you have the good habit of reading books from your childhood, then use the books. Okay, this book said this thing, you can refer this thing. But I don't have that habit. Now, we cannot generate this habit within a 1 year or 2 years of time span. You cannot read so many books and you cannot bring it in your essay. That is not possible. For me, my strength was current affairs and my GS. I feel there are enough number of examples in our history, world history, cultural history, ancient, medieval, current affairs. Many things are there. I'll play on my strength. This is my strength. I don't have to go for these books. If someone has the strength of this thing, use it. Use as per your strength. So I'll always, because this is my strength, I'll definitely use every time in any essay some historical aspect, because I love talking about the culture, ancient history or world history aspects, because many superb things has happened like a movie in both Indian context and the world context. So I'll write this thing. Then I will say, okay, conducting its role in the inclusive growth. Then examiner will understand, okay, he's talking about the things. Firstly, I will say inclusive growth. Firstly, capitalism can bring investment. And I'll write this thing, okay, and job creation and play a role in inclusive growth. I may give example or I may not give the example. So your paragraph, remember here. So your page will be like this. So try to write 2 paragraphs or 3. That's it. So if you are writing in 3 lines, that is not called a paragraph. At least 4 lines. So 4 to 5 lines. 4 to 5 lines of paragraphs. It can have 1 idea or 2 idea. 1 idea or 2 idea. So I used to write 4 lines. Or if I write 5 lines, I'll write 2 ideas. So 2 paragraphs I'll try to write in a page. Okay, in 1 paragraph, I'll try to convey 2 ideas. So in this way, I'll bring 3 or 4 ideas in 1 page. I have seen people writing 2 pages, 1 idea. What is the use? At least 1 paragraph, 1 idea. Do not cross more than that. That's it. 1 paragraph, 1 idea. If you can, you bring the 2 ideas. You understood? And there should be organically flow from the first paragraph to the second paragraph. Now see, we have spoken about the, let's say, economic aspect, job creation. Okay, so job creation, creating the inclusive growth. We have written the paragraph has ended. Now second paragraph, you cannot say, okay, something directly you cannot start. Okay, now you have to link it something. How do you link? There are certain kinds of keywords. Additionally, however, added to this, moreover, like this, you can use the connecting keywords. Okay, so now I'll say once economic aspect is spoken, then I'll say capitalism role is not just a job creation. They have social dimension. They have social dimension. So I'll underline this thing. They have social dimension. I'll underline this thing. Through advancement of technology, they can provide affordable, cheaper, efficient, low cost services to vulnerable sections. Example, telemedicine, where health facilities is being provided in the rural areas. I'll write this thing. Similarly, even environment can also be saved. Now see, I have used the word environment can also be saved. So like this I'll write. Okay, like this I will write. Okay, I will have the words. Okay, somewhere now since I have mentioned 800 words for the body, I will calculate 400 words. Okay, so 400 words means generally, okay, it will give me this side, this side, this side, and this side, or else this side, 3 pages at least. So I have to communicate 5 or 6 ideas in this thing. I'll mark it. Okay, I'll mark my pages. Till here, I'll write only positive things. I'll be checking my time limit also. Once this is done, then I have to transition. But capitalism also has its dark side. I'm using the transition. They can cause negative impact to the inclusive growth. I have to use these words: capitalism and inclusive growth. Capitalism and inclusive growth. Or else examiner will think, She's writing, she or he is writing something which is not relevant to the question. So then I will start. Firstly, I have to think the point. People will write examples. Firstly, I have to think the point. Firstly, on economic front, it is useful to the people who have the resources. It may cause inequality. Okay, it may cause social problems like this. Whatever we have brainstormed, I'll write this way. Then transition, but governments across the world are taking various measures. Like this, I'll write. Then I will conclude. So this is the way to write your complete essay. Now, in these 2 sessions, I have given you how to generate introduction, how to generate the body, and how to generate the conclusion. With this idea, you guys can practice, or you can enroll to the program, which is going to be launched from Monday onwards, which is costing around some 4,000, I guess. Okay, so somewhere I'll be taking some 1 to 1.5 hour sessions of around 45 to 50, where we'll be discussing this PYQ themes, and I will discuss in a similar format where I will be giving assignments to the students before the class and during the class in building the essay. So my intention is you should be in a position after finishing the session, you got enough practice of developing the essay of 800 to 1000 words. You should be in that position. So this is what the course is. If you can do it by yourself, that also you can do after these 2 sessions. I'll also try to take just briefly one idea about the any philosophical essay also. Okay, let me take any philosophical essays. Okay, let's say this thing. Be the change you want to see in others. One second. You guys able to see the screen? Now the question is, be the change you want to see in others. Is this the question? See, now here it is open-ended. I will not be I'll be just giving you some brief idea. Okay, because this discussion will take entire class for me. Okay, I will give you the brief idea because someone has requested me to take the philosophical essay also. So I have thought to take just a brief idea on this thing. So now this thing, be the change you want to see in the others. So here the central theme is change. Be the change you want in others. Okay, so here, like I have said, you can use, like, firstly you can think, okay, what is this change? Okay, why do you want to see the change in others? You can think how these things are related. Change and also the change in others. The change in you with the change in others. What is the relationship? It is always positive relationship or else negative relationship. You can think all these directions, these ways. Then try to write the introduction. Here, if you guys can write any kind of quote from the Gandhiji, okay. If you kind of use any kind of poem also, that is fine. But I'll just use the anecdote or simply brainstorm using these things. I'll question why there is a need for change. I want to be the change that should be introduced in someone else. You have to think, you have to brainstorm. So why aspect I'll bring. So these things can be easily introduced to the anecdotes. These are always very simple things. Okay, a person, I will take, okay, Gandhiji during his freedom struggle. Gandhiji during his freedom struggle, he always followed what he preached, like simplicity, ethical values, equality, and abided by them. Because he believed change to happen at larger scale or to ask someone change, it should start from us. It should start from us. We can be the initiator of the change. Okay, somewhere like this. I have introduced. So now by reading this thing, examiner has understood, okay, what is the essence of essay. I have understood and I have communicated to the examiner using some kind of historical aspect. Now in the body, I'll talk about dimension. Be the change. What is the exact question actually? Be the change which you want in others, something like that. Now you question why. Why you should be the change? Why you should be the, just you have to brainstorm. Why you should be the change? Why others should change? Now relationship between this thing. Can change in you bring change in others? If not, what can be done? Why sometimes it happens? Why it not? Why it not? Something like, it is like kind of challenges. So these are my major dimensions I'm thinking of in my body using the question. Now to write these things, to generate again points, I have to mention about the same approaches like social, environment, these things to generate the points in this 1, 2, 3, 4, or within this 1, 2, 3 points, within this 1, 2, 3 points, I have to use this thing again. Now, just since I have mentioned, okay, when, okay, I cannot write just like a GS. Okay, when we want, okay, now see, in these philosophical cases only, people will write, okay, Buddha, he asked for meditation. He asked people to do meditation and follow the simple path. Okay, like this, they will write only example. Okay, so Gandhi, they will write only examples. This is not the essays. You have to bring the point. Okay, when we want transformation in the people, we want transformation in the people, it should come from us first. It should come from us. So we are saying why the change? Why the change from us? I'm generating the points. Why the change from us? It should come from us. Then only people will be inspired. People will be inspired. If say I'm your teacher, like I'm not preparing anything, I'm not studying anything. Okay, I will not be able to tell you with conviction that you have to study, you have to work hard, anything, right? So that should be there. That it will give the conviction. For the listener, it will give the credibility. I'm just generating the brainstorming the points. And when I be the change, I will also understand difficulties and the possibilities. With this thing, I can become the leader and guide the people. Okay, so here I like add the examples. Like say Swami Vivekananda, he was talking about the equality. He has said about convergence of the different religions. He always treated all the religions equally. He has brought the change in himself and he has guided the people, so many people. Today, still the people follow the Vivekananda. Then, can you always bring the change you want? I'm generating the second dimension. So again, yes, no. So when it can bring, when it cannot bring, I'll write the points. So like this, I'm taking some random points from the philosophy. Be the change you want. Why the change you want? Why not? First, other people. So you have to generate the points like this. Questioning the question. Why? Remember this thing. Question the question. Think and brainstorm. In this way, you will be able to generate the points. And then again, same thing. In the same way in the body, you will question those major 3 dimensions or 4 dimensions. There will be in the body majorly 4 dimensions. Why do you want to be the change? Firstly, why do you want the change? Because change is rule. Stability is exception, right? The person who does not change will always fade off. Everything is changing. Society is changing. And we need change for transformation and progression, right? We are talking about change. Now you can also think what kind of changes and what kind of, in where kind of changes. Is it only political changes, social changes, economic changes, moral changes, and changes also in the behavioral changes? So where you are talking about the change? You have to bring this kind of clarity to the examiner again. So before starting this body, I will also say this thing. Change is what? The rule. Not changing can lead to the something kind of disappearance. For a progression and for a kind of well-being of the society, change is what required. We need a change in our mindset. We need a change in our body. We need a change in our society as per the demand, as per the progression, as per the transformation, as per the requirement. So change is always required. And one who wants to bring that change, he has to change first. Instead of expecting the society to change, he has to change. He has to be the leader. He has to be the torch bearer. Is this clear? So you will bring the clarity what actually the introduction, what actually the question is asking. So you are brainstorming. Change means what? What kind of change? So in the body you will have this thing. Why do you want the change? Firstly, change. Why do you want? Why you should be the change? If you change, others also will change. Can it lead to the change in others? If not, then what to do? This is nothing but the suggestions. Then conclude. So in the conclusion, what you will conclude? He's not saying anything. He's not asking you a question. He's just giving you the statement. Be the change you want to bring. So in the conclusion, when I be the change, I'm saying, when I be the change, even if people immediately don't change, I would have set the path. It gives me moral satisfaction. I would have that conviction. My inner conscience will be happy. If people change with my efforts, then this can lead to the changes in the society. Then such a kind of change on all fronts, which I have mentioned in the introduction, change should be on the political, economic, social, cultural fronts, which I see as a progressive change, not a regressive change. So change can be, again, you have to brainstorm, positive change or negative change. A change which I am expecting is a progressive change. In which direction we will consider as a progressive? Again, see, now by questioning this thing, I have generated one more point. How do you decide the change is good or bad? How do you decide change is good or bad? How will you convince people it is good? Now see, this is the rough work I am doing. I'm just I'm doing along with you, simultaneously with you. Journey of 1,000 steps from the one step. Very good line that can be used in the conclusion. The journey of 1,000 steps start with the first step. I'll end this thing with the conclude. Very good line like this. That can be used as a conclusion, or also you can also use in the introduction also. So you guys understood how this thing, how the body should be generated. So whenever the question is given to you, be the change you want to be. So firstly, you think what kind of changes: positive change, negative change, changes in political, social, economic. So you think, so what you have decoded it, first communicate to the examiner. This all should happen in the 150 words. People will fail at this level. So you are not communicating clearly which kind of change you are talking about. So in the introduction, I have mentioned, if you see, Gandhiji, when I mentioned about the Gandhiji example, I am mentioning my clarity, simplicity, ethical values, equality. Okay, so I'm talking about the economical, moral progression, moral and social progression. This is what change I am expecting. This can be later on written in the paragraph format. The change which I am expecting is a constructive change, a progressive change, which makes society a good society in times of well-being, standard of living, morality. This is a change. When this change I want to expect from the society, that change I will start it from myself. Then why? Questions will come like this, then why again? These points I will write for, I will not write this thing in the body first. I will generate these main dimensions of the body, at least 4 or 5. Why do you want that change? Okay, why you should be the change? How do you decide that change is good or bad? How will you convince the people? Can every time change of you will lead to the change of the people? What steps you can take to change the people? Then conclude. Is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes.
Yeah. So philosophical essays are very easy. You don't need so much of content here. This is very easy. It's just need practice in this format. So that's it for today. So I have given what is required for the essay. So VIP Academy is conducting this essay session, and I will be taking the classes. So like I have mentioned, it will be around 45 to 50 sessions, or between 40 to 50 sessions for around 1 to 1.5 hours. Okay, so the intention is to give you all kind of clarity on the essay. So by the time we will cover those 70-75 hours of essay program, so you will be in a position. So what I'll do is I'll give the task, I will make the people write the essay, and I will ask them to interchange your essay copies and evaluate. We will the session will be more interactive, where before the class students will study the topic and try to generate and brainstorm the points, and then interact with me in the class, and they will try to write the paragraphs along with me and ask me doubts. So by the time you cover this 40 to 50 sessions, you would have written along with me enough number of essays. Some 10 to 20 essays you will write. So I believe this is good enough. Not just randomly dumping the essay with the content. Okay, the content will be given in this format with the class reading. I will not be giving any kind of separate material which is useless. I will give some kind of content like say value addition content I will give. Like say if you are doing any women related, I will give value addition in forms of examples, any case studies. If any useful quotes I come across, these things which is adding a role to your existing content, this I will do. Any ethical example, moral example, legal values. So value addition definitely in the class, I will try to provide. Not the materials which generally that is happening in this Telugu states, where I don't want to take the name. Generally, they are just fooling the people. Just they are providing the materials. Okay, people will think, okay, we have got this much of bulky material, we'll study and we'll write the beautiful essay, and they are clueless about how to write the essay. Now, these 2 sessions, I'm sure if you have gotten what I'm trying to say, if you have listened this class properly, you will be able to write at least some. If you are at the 0, you can come at least to the 30% of level or 35% of the level. I'm not saying you will reach some 100% with this just 2 class. Some 30 to 35. If you practice, eventually this can reach to this 100% level. Okay, this you can do it by yourself, or what is essential things, main crucial things I have given. You can practice by yourself, or if you want to practice with me, you can enroll for the course. I think it is mentioned in this VIP app also, VIP Telegram channel also. Okay, so these classes will also be uploaded on the YouTube. So things are clear. So any doubt or any question you guys have? So you guys also have my Telegram ID. If you get any doubts and questions, you can ask me also. Any other questions you guys have? Fine, you learned something? Are the 2 classes helpful?
Yes, sir.
Okay, utilize them well. I'll tell you when the class will be. If Monday is festival, then I'll see from when the class will begin. Okay, I'll update these things on Telegram. Okay. Nadisha has asked the question, sir, while writing an essay, can we use pictorial representation? Like yesterday, I have said, only when it is very important, very essential, there only we will write, or else not required. Okay, Nadisha, is this clear? Okay. Okay, everyone. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.